opportunity. The reason why we are here is indeed to solidify the relationship, to ensure to it that the regional structure is strengthened, because we believe that we cannot operate in silos as the countries. Let me then get into our presentation, perhaps to highlight what is it that we do as NECDA. But before I get into this, let me briefly touch on how the whole thing is structured in South Africa. We are having solid policies in place. There is a historical ECDE policy, which was never been there before. When you look into the genealogy of ancient development, pre and post apartheid era, we never had such. And then when you look into the anthropology of ancient development, again, there was nothing like such. So you had pieces of policies and so forth, pockets here and there. But now in 2015, we managed to come up with one policy, which is called ECDE Integrated Policy. And as that policy, it demands that government, civil society, we need to do things in an integrated manner. I'm not on the presentation as said, I'm just giving you a context. So that was historical. Number two, there was also a shift that has just happened recently, where early child development migrated from social welfare, in our country is called Department of Social Development, to Department of Basic Education. But not the entire Children's Act has migrated. Only 2 chapters has migrated. That is chapter 5 and chapter 6. Now that makes the Department of Basic Education to become the leader responsible for coordination and leadership of early child development service provision in South Africa. So that is also historical. The third victory was us as the civil society having managed to push government to a point that early childhood development found expression in the National Development Plan, Vision 2030. And now it is a country's plan. 2 chapters in that document, Vision 2030, National Development Plan, Vision 2030. 2 chapters in that document are entirely dedicated to early childhood development. And thus then makes early childhood an apex priority area. And once something becomes an apex priority area in our context, it becomes, or it ought to become, a funded mandate. In other words, the National Treasury, therefore, is spellbound to mobilize resources so that the commitment made in the country's National Development Plan can be realized. Yes, of course, we are experiencing some challenges. Commitment on the paper, but on the reality is something else. That is why advocacy is continuing. That's why we are continuously engaging and so forth. But what is beauty about the policy of 2015, the integrated ECDE policy? It makes government and civil society to come together. So it's a platform where we come together and issues of ECDE are ventilated in that platform. And then above that, in terms of that policy, there's another structure called ECDE Departmental Committee. In other words, when these issues come from the ISF ECDE Integrated Forum, they go to Interdepartmental Forum. and their commitment there. Once they're deliberated at the interdepartmental level, they go to another layer, which is called inter-ministerial committee. Once they are deliberated there, the last stage, they will definitely find an expression into a sub-parliamentary committee. And then we are able then to make things happen. So that's how we are currently, structured in South Africa. And I must confess that one of the organizations that has been playing a pivotal role is NECDA, National Early Childhood Development, which is one of the highest, biggest formation in South Africa. And then this NECDA is constituted as an NPO in terms of NPO Act number 71 of 1997, and it was accorded in terms of taxation law, section 18A status. So we are that type of an NGO. Now, this structure, NECDA, National Early Development, is a body that represents training and resource organization in South Africa. And then we can get into it, my brother. And these are the visions of the structure. Now, with this background that I was giving, that how we are constituted and so forth, we are representing